everybody. Welcome back to Fante's Daily Grind number 2. I'm sitting here with a Louisville legend, a pioneer in the coffee business, and somebody that I respect as a friend and a mentor, Gary Heine.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure seeing you again, Gary. Thanks for taking the time to come out and see us today.
Yeah.
We're going to cup some coffee, and it's going to be great. Okay, so we ready?
Well, I'm just really excited to be here with you, Leo Fante. I've liked you for many years, and I realized that you've been in the coffee business probably longer than anybody else in Louisville, 42 years.
A long time,
That's a long
Gary.
time. So you've learned it all from the beginning all the way. Yeah.
I've been very fortunate to, be surrounded by what I would call, really great people in the coffee business.
Yeah.
And, certainly you're one of them.
Yeah.
You came in and, shared my first bean brew, the very first one I did in my coffee house.
Yeah.
It was so wonderful.
Yeah.
You showed up and surprised me, and it was fabulous.
Yeah.
I was flabbergasted that you took the time to come in, and Heine Brothers.
Yeah.
That says a lot. Heine Brothers. That's a Louisville tradition, long-standing. Outstanding growth. Heine Brothers Coffee. You started with the little coffee cart. I remember the coffee cart over
in 1992.
Over in Brownsboro Plaza at the Kroger's.
Yeah,
I'll never forget. John Conti came in one day and said, "Leo, I shop over there at Brownsboro Road, and there's a coffee cart in there, and it's Heine Brothers. Can you go look and see what that is?" And I went over and I said, "Wow, it's a really cool coffee cart."
Yeah.
And so, John, he was impressed, and he had all the coffee houses in the malls. And, when you came in and you opened your first one, I guess, over in the Carmichael bookstore, is that right?
Right behind
there?
it, yeah.
Yeah. So, first location, you were roasting, I think, over there originally.
Right, we were, yeah.
And it was just such a cool concept.
Yeah.
Roasting in the coffee shop.
Yeah.
And, I love the fact that you were so quality minded and, bringing in the organic and the fair trade coffee to Louisville for the first time.
Yeah.
Which was a big commitment to do and to kind of elevate and raise the bar and to bring in some amazing, small crafted coffees before that was even a thing, before it was even heard of.
Well, thank you, and you're now taking it to the next level. And I just wanted everybody who's watching this to see this is an official cupping table. You said it's 100 years old.
It is, yeah. And, out of New Orleans.
Out of New Orleans, and the way they used to work is they'd put these coffee cupping cups around the table, and you'd try one, and then you'd pass it and try one, spit, pass it. And that's really beautiful. That's a beautiful table.
Thank you. Yeah, the process is not real pretty. You watch guys in there cupping. It's kind of a really rudimentary process. But
what is it that we're doing here with cupping? Like, what does cupping do? Like,
well,
for people who don't know.
Cupping really accomplishes a couple of different things. One, when you're buying green coffee, if you're somebody like the Westfelds and you're going to buy 1,150-pound bags of a particular coffee lot. You want to sit down and you want to sample roast, and you want to cup the coffee. And what you're trying to do is bring out anything that's bitter or not correct. You're looking for defects.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of an insurance policy, I guess, is how you would look at that. Making sure that coffee that you're buying and that lot number, it matches up to what's shipped to you in a month or two. And so you pull that sample back out and you cup it against the new sample and you check the lot numbers.
Right.
And, when you're in the coffee industry and it's a big deal like that, you want to make sure that you're getting exactly what you're paying for.
Gotcha.
So Cupper's taste profile is extraordinarily important to the quality side of things.
So what are we going to cup today?
So today we've got a couple of different things going on. We've got Sierra Nevada Colombian, which is a coffee that I'm very proud of, that we brought in as one of our signature coffees. And you'll love this part. It is a It is a certified USDA organic coffee. It has the Rainforest Alliance certification, and it's bird friendly. And
Beautiful.
So,
Beautiful.
yeah. It's in the tradition of what you did at Heine Brothers. It's a highly vetted, highly certified, very qualified coffee that has been grown with the best organic practices.
Oh yeah,
So,
awesome.
yeah,
Sounds great.
Yeah,
Sounds great.
So that's what we've got, and we've got it two different ways. We've got it brewed drip, which I love. I love the way you cup coffee. Before we sat down today, Gary said, "Hey, can we try that coffee brewed with a regular drip style? Because that's the way they wanted to taste the coffee, because that's where the rubber meets the road, and that's how the customer or consumer drinks it. And it makes perfect sense to do that, and then to compare it to what we have here, which is done in a siphon brew that is kind of an upscale, showy kind of way to brew coffee that we do. It's an entire presentation, and so we're going to cup both side by
Beautiful.
side.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Sounds good.
So I might recommend we do the drip first,
Okay.
so that we don't skew our palate. And
Oh, that's really nice.
that is very smooth.
Yeah.
I get a lot of brightness out of that for a Colombian. I mean, it's pretty bright for a Colombian.
Full-bodied, and it's definitely got a liveliness to it. Like a sparkle. Like
It does.
Like Colombian coffees in the past have had this certain quality to it that I couldn't quite put my finger on, but it was like a taste that was just unusual. But this doesn't have it, and I like it.
Yeah, I think you nailed it with a sparkle. I think that really is a really defining word, and it does have a little sparkle to it. And we enjoy this coffee very much. We wanted to develop a signature line where we could bring that forward, and every month feature what we call a premium or a signature coffee. So,
Yeah, sounds great. Sounds
yeah,
great. Well, you
so-
got a good one there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're really proud of it, and I think when we taste that now versus done in the siphon brew, I think you'll find a little bit of a different profile.
I like how you cup them a little cooler, because the defects come out when it's cooler.
Correct.
But this almost tastes like it has a little lemony thing in it.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It's it's got a little bit of lemon, and that's what when I said it's very bright, it's got some fruit in there. And,
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that lemon is a big one in that coffee.
Yeah.
It's it's not as prolific as the next one that we're going to try. The next one that we're going to try is a Panamanian, and everybody's heard the story of Price Peterson's farm down there in Bouquet, Panama.
Yeah.
Where
With the geisha.
yeah, Esmeralda Geisha,
Yeah.
601, the 1500 meter in particular, where his son, you and I are both dads, and we have young sons that are millennials, and
Yeah.
he's the same way. He's got a son that said, "Dad, why don't we take all of our geisha plants and plant them on that bench down at 1500 meters, and let's them in the soil on that bench, and let's get that soil to be perfect match for the root structure of those plants, and let's just see what happens." And man, when they did that,
Yeah.
instantly overnight, it kind of became like the Pappy Van Winkle of
Right.
coffee, because of the very limited supply. They just grow a little bitty bit of it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everybody in the world wants it.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to get. But we found a farm that's not really 5-6 miles down the street from where he is, at 1500 meters. It's growing the coffee, and that's it's not a geisha, but it's a Panamanian bouquet coffee that's estate grown, and this coffee has got some very unique and distinct. It's very well balanced, like the 601 from his farm from Esmeralda. It's very balanced, and that's the reason he got a perfect cupping score.
Right.
His coffee was so balanced. A lot of tea-like properties, but bold, big finish.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen very often.
Hey, let me tell you an interesting story about when I met Price Peterson. It was in maybe 2001. They had this, the Smithsonian Migratory Bird Center had this big conference and invited, coffee farmers and, bird people and scientists. And the idea of it was because, so many of the migratory birds in the United States, they go down and they like to live in the coffee farms, in the trees.
Right. And
so what they were trying to do, and there's so many people that love birds in the United States, so they were trying to get people thinking, hey, if we can treat these coffee plantations right and do some real organic kind of production, then the birds are going to have a place to go. And because at the time, a lot of government agencies were trying to bring the coffee trees down out of the mountains down to the flatland where they could fertilize it.
Long symmetrical rows.
Yeah. But so it was a way to kind of save these small coffee farms up in the mountains, and also give the birds a continuous place to winter. And so that's where the idea of bird friendly came from.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
That's so cool.
Yeah. And it's good to know, as long as coffee's been around, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, there's something new. There's potential for something new and something different,
So this is the Panamanian we were talking about, and again, it's a little cooler now that it's been sitting here.
Mm-hmm. And that for the people watching, that slurping their coffee across the tongue and your palate lets the the molecules split up, and you get to taste it all over your tongue. And all the different,
and through the nasal passage as you breathe out, which I find extraordinary. The olfactal, a lot of times you can pick a coffee up and just get a big inhale and really pre-wet the brain on what's going to happen, what's going to take place. That olfactal, and but it's
wow, that's got like a burgundy thing going on.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
It's so balanced, and it's got a lot of very tea-like properties, very subtle and light, and just a hint of sweetness.
Yeah.
A little bit of Meyer lemon in there. Got that sweet kind of lemon.
Yeah. Very nicely balanced.
But
and it sort of goes on and on and on.
It lingers.
Yeah.
It lingers.
Yeah.
I like that. You think about tea-like taste characteristics, and you would think that would be, on for just a minute and then off. But it lingers, and I think that's part of the reason it kind of is a special coffee. I think that's part of the reason that the Panamanians are so sought after now.
Oh yeah.
I used to do business with a couple of surfers out of California. When I started at Royal Cup, Mr. Smith sent me my first mission for him. I was doing special projects for Mr. Smith, the owner, chairman of the board of Royal Cup, and he sent me to Phoenix, and he said, when you get off the plane at Sky Harbor, go down the hallway, and you're going to see Paradise Bakery and Cafe. He said, I got you set up with the owners. It's a couple surfers out of California. He said, and they've created this business, but they're struggling with where they want to go with the menu. And so I went and I met, and I walked in, and there was a guy in board shorts and blonde hair and just a t-shirt, and I was like, he's got to be the guy. And I went over and met with him, and I said, hey, I'm here to kind of look at the menu and see what I can do to kind of help you out. I said, if you had to take every product that you have in the store and get rid of it and just hang your hat on one thing, what would it be? And he looked at me and he said, well, we've got the finest chocolate chip cookie in the world. He said, our chocolate chip cookie, my brother and I, when we got into this business, we wanted to make the best chocolate chip cookie in the world. He said, go through my line and try not to get one. And so I went up and got me a glass or bottle of water and set it there. And I told the girl I didn't want a cookie, that I couldn't have it. I was on a diet. And she pulled a cookie out and put it in a little baggie and handed it to me and said, sir, hand this to somebody and you'll make their day. Our chocolate chip cookie is the finest cookie in the world. And I looked back at him and I'm like, you're brilliant. Yeah. Everybody that walks through that line is going to get one of his cookies.
Yeah.
And so I went home that night and I just thought, how am I going to create a drink for him? One thing I noticed when I got off the jetway, it's like 120 degrees in the jetway, and he had no ice beverages. So I created the Paradise Bakery and Cafe chocolate chip cookie frappe.
Oh, I like it.
And we just put the cookie in the drink.
Yeah.
And instantly he loved it.
Oh, yeah.
And so, it was just one of the fun things that I got to experience in my coffee life. But his coffee that we his coffee that we brought in was a Panamanian from Bouquet.
Gotcha.
And that's the first time I'd ever had a contact. He told me, he said, we're importing this particular coffee from Bouquet, Panama. And that's what kind of turned me on and got my focus down there into that Panamanian area to look at some really cool coffee.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Well, Leo, I'm glad that I got a chance
Gary,
to really learn some of the interesting
what
aspects
an honor.
of your career, man.
No, what an honor and what a pleasure it is to
Yeah.
spend some time with you. And
You're a pioneer.
well, you're great. You're more than grateful saying that. Thank you so much. You're a pioneer. You've built, you and your family's built one of the best retail operations in the whole Midwest, and continues to grow every single day now even. And I'm just so proud to know you and proud to have you here in our little place.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
Really fun.
Thanks for coming out.
Thanks for teaching me a little bit about
Oh,
cooking.
shoot. Thanks for being here for me. Thank you very much.
All right, brother.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.